Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to explore how J. Frank Norris, who was one of the most controversial fundamentalist pastors of the 20th century, used his pulpit to oppose President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. His story is what I believe to be a powerful example of how theology and politics can collide um, and create this huge controversy that we still see in America today. Who was Frank J. Norris? Norris was a pastor. He pastored two churches. One was in Fort Worth and one was in Detroit. He was known for being bold. He was very savvy with the media. He was aggressive in defending biblical literalism. He owned a radio station and published his own newspaper, which gave him quite a voice with the people. And he challenged powerful figures and wasn't afraid of it, such as FDR. Oh, I apologize. I'm going too quickly here. The fundamentalist modernist context, controversy. The controversy split American Protestantism. I cannot say that word. Fundamentalists believed in biblical inerrancy and were deeply suspicious of any type of liberal theology and cultural modernism. Norris saw Roosevelt not just as a political enemy, but honestly, he thought he was a symbol of moral and spiritual decline in America. To him, liberal policies like the New Deal were a part of a, quote, godless agenda. Norris preached that Roosevelt was undermining Christian values. He called the New Deal socialism in disguise and used sermons to warn that FDR's policies would destroy America's soul. He was especially outraged by Roosevelt's attempt to court pack the Supreme Court, which Norris saw as a power grab. He believed that it threatened not only the Constitution, but God's law as well. In a newspaper chronicling America, it reflects the kind of criticism that Norris spread, calling FDR's judicial reform misleading and dangerous. While Norris didn't write this article, it does show how his religious opposition aligned with a broader conservative belief at the time and a broader fear of Roosevelt's expanding federal power. The article calls Norris in the wider context of religious opposition to FDR. He was a part of a larger network of conservative Christians who believed that Roosevelt was leading the country away from God. He saw FDR's modernism as a threat to both the church and the state and used the media to rally resistance. Why this mattered. Norris didn't just preach about salvation. He preached about politics. Like I mentioned in the very first part of this, Norris used his pulpit as a way to become political and to directly oppose FDR. He was a part of a larger network that grew and expanded as he ran his ideas and thoughts. This network grew as well. By blending faith and politics, Norris made it normal for pastors to take public stands on national policy. And that influence is still felt today. One of these main questions that we can ask ourselves, is America a Christian nation or a nation found on religious freedom? It's still at the height of theological and political debate in America. In closing, if I can get to my conclusion slide, J. Frank Norris was not just a firebrand preacher. He was a cultural warrior for what he thought American culture should look like. His attacks on FDR showed how deeply the fundamentalist modernist divide shaped not only churches, but also American politics. For Norris, opposing FDR wasn't just about being a good patriot or being a good American as far as politically speaking out loud. For Norris, it was bigger than that. It was about protecting people from falling away from good morals and from falling away from God's law and things like that. So it was a spiritual battle for him. All right, this is my source list, and I hope y'all had a fabulous have a fabulous rest of your day.